I stand in Michael's childhood bedroom, clutching his handwritten note from 2 years ago. The yellow paper crinkles under my fingers as I smooth it again, though I know every word by heart. Promise me, you'll give my wedding speech. The mirror in the doorway frames my reflection, and I straighten my shoulders, practicing the confident delivery I've rehearsed 100 times. When Michael was 8 years old, my voice wavers and I clear my throat, starting over. When Michael was 8, my phone buzzes against the antique dresser, vibrating through childhood photos of us at Lake Superior, gap-toothed grins, and sunburned noses. A text from Michael lights up the screen. Hey, last-minute change. Brooke's maid of honor will do the speech instead. My fingers brush the raised edge of my scar, a familiar comfort gesture I thought I'd outgrown. The tissue feels warm under my touch, like always when stress floods my system. 25 years of stares, of whispers, of children pointing, none of it stings like these 12 words on my screen. I bolt down the stairs, our mother's prized wedding photos rattling in their frames as my feet hit each step. Michael and Brooke sit in the living room, heads bent over seating charts spread across Mom's antique coffee table. The autumn sun streams through the bay window, catching the diamond on Brooke's finger. You promised me. My voice cracks on the last word. 2 years ago, right in this house, Michael. They look up in unison. Michael's expression crumples like used tissue paper, but Brooke's features arrange themselves into practiced sympathy, the kind reserved for charity cases and injured animals. Oh, honey. Brooke stands, smoothing her cream silk blouse. We just thought guests might be distracted. Her pause speaks volumes. This is such a special day. We need everyone focused on the ceremony, the celebration. You understand. Michael won't meet my eyes. His fingers tap against his knee, the same nervous gesture from when we were kids, and he'd broken something valuable. It's Brooke's day, everything perfect. Perfect. The word slices through me like winter wind. I close my eyes, remembering his graduation day. The quad filled with purple caps and sunshine, Michael grabbing me in a bear hug that lifted me off my feet. Sis, you're my anchor. When I get married, you're doing the speech. Michael. I step closer, willing him to look at me. Remember what you said that day? He glances up, then away. Outside, a car horn blares, making him flinch. That was different, he mumbles. Things change. Things like Brooke, with her country club membership and socialite mother. Things like family dinners where she'd slide magazine articles about corrective surgery across the table. The techniques are so advanced now, Allison. No one would even notice. I watch my brother now, seeing the moment he chose status over blood. The silence between us floods with memories, teaching him to ride a bike, bandaging his scraped knees, defending him from schoolyard bullies, all erased by Brooke's manicured hand on his arm. It's a high society wedding, Allison. Brooke rises, her voice sharp beneath its sugar coating. We want polish, not. Her eyes flick to my cheek, then away. Michael says nothing. His silence fills the room like smoke, choking me. This isn't about a speech anymore. This is about being erased from their story, hidden away like a shameful secret. My fingers crumple the speech in my pocket, years of love and memories reduced to unwanted paper. Tears burn behind my eyes, but I refuse to let them fall. Not here. Not now. You're right, Michael. My voice comes out steady, surprising me. It should be perfect. I turn away before they can respond, but not before I catch Brooke's satisfied smile. She thinks she's won, thinks I'll fade quietly into the background of their flawless day. She has no idea what's coming. Upstairs, in Michael's old room, that crumpled speech waits in my pocket. Maybe it's time for a different kind of perfect, the kind that leaves scars. The next day, while going to meet a friend, I overheard the conversation. You can't put her anywhere visible during dinner. Brooke's voice filters through the closed study door, sharp and clear on speakerphone. The photographer needs perfect shots. I freeze in the hallway, and through the crack beneath the door, shadows shift as someone paces across hardwood floors. The back corner should work, a woman responds, probably the wedding planner. Table 19, behind the column. The lighting's dim there anyway. My fingers tighten around the open door of his room. Inside, a picture of a younger Michael grins at the camera, his arms slung around my shoulders at his high school graduation. The camera caught us both laughing at some forgotten joke. Perfect. Brooke's heels click closer to the door. And you received my note about special considerations? Yes, the one about facial differences. We'll make sure all the photos are taken from the right angle. The silver frame trembles. I set it down before I drop it, backing away from the study door. My feet carry me upstairs to Dad's old office, where boxes of wedding preparations sprawl across his desk. Guest lists, seating charts, vendor contracts. My hands move mechanically through the papers until I find a crisp white envelope addressed to the wedding planner. Inside, a typed note reads, "Special considerations, facial differences, sister of groom. Arrange seating and photo positioning accordingly." My phone buzzes. A video call from Rachel fills the screen. "Oh, good," you answered. She adjusts her glasses, peering at me. "Listen, I heard what happened with the speech. Maybe it's for the best?" You know how people get at weddings, all those eyes watching. The words blur together as my screen fills with another notification. An email from Michael to Uncle Steve. About Allison's situation, we're trying to be sensitive to everyone's comfort level. My situation. Like I'm a problem to be managed. "Allison, are you there?" Rachel's voice sounds distant. "I have to go." I end the call, sinking into Dad's leather chair. The leather creaks, familiar and grounding. How many times had I sat here as a kid, watching him work while Michael played video games downstairs? A knock at the door makes me jump. Aunt Margaret stands in the doorway, her silver hair caught in the afternoon light. Her eyes lock onto the papers scattered across the desk. "So you found it." She steps inside, closing the door. "Sarah called me. That girl sees everything. She's furious about how they're treating you." "Did you know?" The question comes out small, childlike. "About the seating chart?" Aunt Margaret's face hardens. "I knew something was wrong when Brooke started excluding you from planning meetings. That girl's been climbing social ladders since kindergarten." My phone lights up with a text from Cousin James. "Just saw the seating chart. This isn't right, Allie." I'll talk to them. I start gathering the papers, but Aunt Margaret's hand covers mine. "You'll do no such thing." Her voice carries the same steel that used to shut down Dad's arguments at Sunday dinner. "I'm handling this. You're sitting at table 8 with the family, where you belong." Hope flutters in my chest, but dies as another text appears. From Brooke. "Any drama and you're uninvited. This is my day." Seconds later, Michael. "Don't ruin this for me, sis. I need this marriage." The words swim before my eyes. This isn't about a seating chart or a speech anymore. This is about my place in the family and Michael's life. "They can't erase you." Aunt Margaret squeezes my shoulder. "Not unless you let them." After 3 calls and what I imagine was an epic confrontation, Aunt Margaret secures me a seat at table 8. A hollow victory that comes with Michael's cold text. "Be grateful you're even coming." I sit in Dad's office as sunset paints the walls gold, reading and rereading Michael's words. The leather chair holds me like it always has, but nothing feels the same. Everything's shifting, turning strange and sharp-edged. My phone buzzes one last time 30 minutes later. "Sarah, you won't believe what I just found out. The venue has this tradition open mic during the reception. Family tributes. They can't stop you from speaking then." I stare at the message, something electric running through my veins. The same feeling I got before debate tournaments in college, when the spotlight waited and words had power. They wanted the perfect wedding. Maybe it's time they got it, just not the kind they expected. Outside the window, a flock of birds wheels against the darkening sky, black wings cutting through gold. I watch them disappear into the distance, my reflection growing clearer in the glass as night falls. The scar on my cheek catches the last light, a silver line like a battle mark. Let them try to hide me in the shadows. I've spent 25 years learning to speak with this face. I'm done being grateful just to be invited. 3 days later, at my apartment, my phone screen lights up with Brooke's latest Instagram post. The wedding countdown photos scroll past, her bridal shower, the bachelorette weekend in Napa, dress fittings with her mother. Not a single image includes me. The captions drip with sugar, creating memories with my true family, and surrounding myself with beautiful people on my perfect day. The notification bubble pops up with Michael's text. About the rehearsal dinner next week. Maybe skip it? Just to avoid awkwardness. My thumb hovers over the screen. A lifetime of memories floods back. Michael's high school graduation, his first breakup the night Dad died. I was there for every moment that mattered. Until now. The wedding invitation sits on my desk, pristine white cardstock edged in gold. A handwritten note slipped inside. We trust you understand the importance of appropriate behavior during the ceremony. The cursive loops of Brooke's handwriting twist like thorns. My phone buzzes again. The family group chat explodes with photos from the wedding planner's walkthrough. Brooke's mother gushes about the champagne fountain, the string quartet, the oyster bar. Only the finest for our angel, she writes. Everything must be flawless. I slam the phone face down. The motion knocks over a box from my closet cleanout, spilling memories across the floor. Debate team trophies tumble out, glass and metal catching the afternoon light. I pick up the biggest one. State finals, senior year. The memory rushes back. Standing at that podium after the accident, hands trembling. The whispers in the audience. But my voice never wavered. I touch the familiar raised edge of my scar, remembering how I learned to own that stage, to make them see past their first impressions. My laptop pings with a message from my support group. Linda's words glow on the screen. Your voice matters more than their comfort. Don't let anyone silence you. I was resolute to attend the dinner and was giving my best to show them that I was as worthy as anyone else. The speech I wrote for Michael's wedding burns in my desk drawer. 2 years of memories, love, and shared secrets poured onto paper. I pull it out, smoothing the creases. The words still ring true, but they're not enough anymore. This isn't just about a speech, it's about me. The rehearsal dinner invitation mocks me from the counter, and I was ready to show them who I was, really. For the dinner next week, Brooke's mother booked the Crystal Ballroom at the Westin, the most exclusive venue in Minneapolis. I picture them all there, practicing their perfect moments, while I sit home like a dirty secret and watch them on my SNS. No, I whisper to my empty apartment. Then louder. No. I grab my car keys. I will show them now that they cannot just pretend I don't exist. I head to the dinner gathering. Half an hour later, the Westin's lobby sparkles with chandeliers. I hear the tinkling of glasses, polite laughter floating down the marble hallway. My heels click against the floor as I follow the sound. Through the ballroom's double doors, I see them. Brooke's mother standing to give her toast, champagne flute raised high. To the most beautiful couple, she trills. A perfect match, destined for a perfect life. I step into the room. I have something to say about family values. Heads whip around. Michael jumps to his feet. Allison, please. But another voice cuts through the shocked silence. Aunt Margaret rises, her silver hair gleaming. Let her speak. From the corner, Sarah's phone camera catches the moment. Cousin James knocks over his water glass, creating a distraction as servers rush forward. The chaos buys me precious seconds. I pull the speech from my purse, not the old one full of childhood memories. This one speaks a different truth. When I was 8 years old, my voice carries across the sudden hush. I learned that some people mistake surface scars for deeper flaws, that they'd rather hide what makes them uncomfortable than face their own prejudices. Tears glisten in several guests' eyes. Even the servers pause, sensing the weight of the moment. Brooke's mask finally cracks. Get out, she shrieks. You're ruining everything. I meet her gaze steadily. No, Brooke. You did that when you decided your perfect day was worth erasing your fiancé's sister. The room splits like a fault line. Aunt Margaret and her crowd move closer to me. Others shift away, refusing to meet my eyes. Michael stands frozen between the groups, his face ashen. I sit down at an empty table, smoothing my skirt. I'll be at your wedding, Michael, whether you want me or not, because that's what real family does. Later that night, after I ruined their perfect moments, Sarah, Aunt Margaret, and I gathered in the living room of my apartment. The open mic tradition at wedding receptions has been a Minneapolis country club staple for generations. The perfect opportunity. I'll create the moment, Aunt Margaret says, her eyes twinkling. Trust me, I know how to work a room. And I'll get everything on video, Sarah adds. Let them try to pretend it didn't happen. My phone buzzes. Brooke's text glows with triumph. We've canceled the open mic, don't even try. I look at my allies gathered around me, at the speech waiting on my coffee table. A smile tugs at my lips. Brooke has no idea what's coming. Sometimes the perfect revenge requires a backup plan. Sarah raises her glass. To making ourselves heard. The crystal catches the light, throwing patterns on my wall. Like scars, they tell a story of something broken and reformed. But this time, I'm doing the reshaping. Finally, the wedding day is here. The elevator doors open to the grand ballroom level of the Minneapolis Hilton. My reflection in the polished brass catches me off guard. Silk charcoal dress, falling in precise folds, pearls at my throat catching the light. The scar on my cheek stands out against my skin, no makeup attempting to hide its silvery path. Sarah waits by the service entrance, clipboard in hand, walkie-talkie clipped to her belt. 20 years of friendship telegraph in her quick nod. Sound system's ready. DJ owes me a favor from the Anderson wedding. Everything's set with Aunt Margaret? Table 12, just like we planned. She has the signal worked out with James. Sarah squeezes my arm. You sure about this? Never been more sure. My prepared speech weighs heavy in my clutch, but the words I'll actually say burn brighter in my mind. The grand ballroom doors loom ahead, muffled music and laughter spilling through the crack beneath. Inside, crystal chandeliers cast honeyed light across 200 guests in evening wear. A security guard musty black suit, earpiece that's seen better days eyes me from his post near the bar. Another lurks by the cake table. Brooks' influences show everywhere. Ice sculptures dripping elegance, sterling silver place card holders, wait staff and crisp white gloves. My phone buzzes. Michael, please don't make a scene. I'm begging you. Before I can respond, the maid of honor takes the microphone. Her voice warbles through a speech clearly written this morning, full of Pinterest quotes about soulmates and destiny. I just knew when Brooke met Michael at the country club benefit. Across the room, Brooke preens in her designer gown, hand possessively curved around Michael's arm. Her smile stretches wide, picture perfect, as she basks in the shallow praise. Michael's eyes dart around the room, landing everywhere but on me. The next hour crawls. Dinner plates come and go, champagne flows, and the band strikes up the opening notes of Michael and Brooke's first dance. They sweep onto the floor in practice stepshire, wearing triumph like a crown, him wooden with tension. Aunt Margaret catches my eye from table 12, tapping her watch. Time. The music cuts mid-note. Confusion ripples through the crowd. The DJ fumbles with controls, but Sarah's standing guard now, keeping him away from the system. I step forward, wireless microphone appearing in my hand like magic. Before we continue celebrating, my voice rings clear through the sudden silence. There's someone who should be heard. Brooke's face contorts. She signals frantically to security, but James blocks their path, glass of wine accidentally spilling across their suits. Other relatives close ranks around me. Uncle Pete, Cousin Maria, even Mom's bridge club friends, forming a protective circle. The photographer Sarah briefed earlier clicks away, capturing everything. Brooke's mask cracking. Michael frozen between us, the rising murmurs as guests piece together what's happening. Someone whispers about the seating arrangements, and the whisper spreads like wildfire. Many of you received careful instructions about where to sit tonight. I let the words land. About keeping certain guests are less visible. Michael takes a halting step forward. Allison. I have here, I hold up the paper in my clutch, the speech I promised to give 2 years ago. The one about teaching you to ride your bike. About holding your hand through Mom's cancer scare. About being your anchor. The room holds its breath. Brooke's fingernail pressens into her palms. I unfold the pages slowly, let them fall to the floor like autumn leaves. But that's not the speech you're going to hear tonight. She's destroying our special day. Brooke surges forward in a blur of white silk and desperation, her veil trailing behind her like a surrender flag. Security guards in black suits move through the reception hall, their earpieces glinting under crystal chandeliers. Michael grabs my arm, his fingers trembling. Allison, I'm begging you. His voice cracks, and for a moment I see the little boy who used to crawl into my bed during thunderstorms. Please. The microphone feels warm in my hand. Around us, 200 guests shift in their chairs, crystal glasses forgotten, phones raised to capture whatever comes next. Aunt Margaret nods from her table, while Sarah positions herself between me and the approaching security team. I glance down at the speech in my hand. Years of memories and love compressed into careful cursive. But that speech belongs to a different Allison, one who still believed in fairy tales about unconditional family love. I'm not here to tell stories about Michael. My voice carries through the perfect acoustics of the grand ballroom. I'm here to talk about what family really means. Brooke freezes mid-stride. Her mother's pearls catch the light as she swallows hard. 2 months ago, I received this email. I hold up my phone, its screen bright against the dimmed reception lighting. Special considerations guest list. Facial differences to be seated away from photographer's angles. Gasps ripple through the crowd. Someone's champagne glass shatters. Here's the seating chart draft. I pull the folded paper from my clutch. Note the helpful asterisk by my name. Problematic appearance, table 27, behind column. Michael's face drains of color. Those were private communications. Like the group text where you explained my situation to the relatives? The words taste bitter on my tongue. Or Brooke's message about how the videographer would need extra editing time to minimize my presence in the final cut. Brooke's mother stands, bracelets jangling. This is completely inappropriate. You know what's inappropriate? My fingers brush my scar, no longer seeking comfort but drawing strength. Teaching your daughter that appearances matter more than character. That it's acceptable to exclude family members who don't fit your aesthetic. The security guards halt their approach as Aunt Margaret and 3 cousins form a protective circle around me. Sarah's phone keeps recording, documenting every moment. A wedding celebrates love and family. I meet the eyes of guests who've known me since childhood. Not perfection, not social climbing. Not the careful curation of flawless photos for your country club friends. Michael steps forward, but his movement lacks conviction. You don't understand what's at stake. I understand exactly what's at stake. I turn to face him fully. You chose appearance over substance, Instagram moments over sister's love. You picked the path of least resistance, letting Brooke edit me out of your life, one subtle suggestion at a time. Brooke's mascara tracks black tears down her cheeks. You're just jealous, bitter, trying to ruin everything because you can't stand seeing something beautiful. Beauty? The word rings through the silence. True beauty comes from character, from standing up for what's right, from loving people as they are, not as you wish they were. I drop the microphone. It hits the parquet floor with a crack that echoes like summer thunder. Half the room erupts in applause, led by Aunt Margaret's decisive clapping. 3 tables of relatives stand, gathering purses and wraps, heading for the exits in silent solidarity. Michael stands alone in the center of the dance floor, Brooke's absence beside him more noticeable than her presence ever was. She retreats toward the bridal suite, her mother rushing after her with a lace handkerchief and murmured comforts. My phone buzzes in my clutch, messages flooding in from cousins, old friends, even Michael's college roommate. But one notification cuts deeper than the rest. A photo from our childhood, Michael and me at the lake, his arm around my shoulders, both of us laughing at some forgotten joke. The timestamp reads 10 years ago. I walk out of the reception hall, heels clicking against marble, head high. The evening air carries the scent of late summer roses from the garden where Michael and I once buried our pet goldfish with a solemn ceremony. Behind me, voices rise and fall like waves, the perfect wedding dissolving into chaos. Sarah catches up, squeezing my hand. You did it. But as the valet brings my car around, I wonder about the true cost of victory. The brother who taught me to ride a bike, who defended me from schoolyard bullies, who swore he'd always be my champion, have I lost him forever? The answer hides somewhere in the future, beyond this night of shattered illusions and reclaimed dignity. For now, I drive away from the wreckage of what was, toward the promise of what could be. My scar catches moonlight in the rearview mirror, no longer a flaw but a badge of survival. Let them have their perfect photos. I'll take my imperfect truth. I went home. 2 years later, the conference room buzzes with whispers as I adjust my notes at the podium. 300 faces stare back at me, each marked by their own story: a port wine stain, a cleft lip, burned scars that ripple like watercolor paintings across cheeks and necks. My people, my tribe. Welcome to the first annual Visible Voices Summit. My voice fills the Seattle Convention Center, steady and clear. 3 months ago, I couldn't have imagined this moment. Now, looking out at this sea of beautiful imperfection, I can't imagine being anywhere else. Sarah catches my eye from the back of the room, tablet in hand, already fielding calls from 4 more cities wanting to host speaking events. She grins and flashes me a thumbs up. On stage right, Aunt Margaret beams from her board member seat, her silver hair catching the spotlight. My phone vibrates in my pocket, another media request, probably. The Washington Post piece went viral last week. Wedding speech rejection sparks national movement. Turned out being uninvited for my brother's wedding was the invitation I needed to find my true voice. The first speaker approaches the microphone. a teenage girl with a facial birthmark blooming across her forehead like a sunset. She stands tall, shoulders back, voice clear as she shares her story. No hiding. No shame. My heart swells, remembering how she'd approached me after my TED Talk last month. "You showed me I don't have to hide," she'd whispered then, tears streaking her cheeks. Now she commands the stage like she was born for it. One of 20 teens in our first public speaking scholarship program. A message notification pops up on my phone screen. James and David's wedding invitation, complete with a handwritten note. Our ceremony wouldn't be complete without a speech from the cousin who taught us what family really means. "Will you do us the honor?" My fingers trace the raised edge of mascara gesture of joy now, not comfort. I type back. "Wouldn't miss it for the world. Same dress as last time?" The audience breaks into applause as the teen finishes her speech. I rise to introduce the next speaker, but pause as movement near the back doors catches my eye. A familiar figure slips into the last row, trying to be inconspicuous. Michael. Our eyes lock across the crowded room. He looks thinner, tired. The text came this morning. "Can we talk about forgiveness?" After the wedding was ruined, I lost my brother actually, so he needed some time to see the truth and was slowly trying to reconcile. But this time, I need more time. I let my gaze linger on him for one heartbeat, two. Then I turn back to the microphone, to my purpose, to the hundreds of faces waiting to hear what comes next. My story isn't about revenge. It never was. Our next speaker reminds us that beauty isn't about perfection. I say, my voice strong and clear. It's about rising. The day unfolds like a flower opening to sunlight. A documentary filmmaker captures testimonials in the corner. Support group leaders exchange strategies over coffee. Parents of children with visible differences find hope in others' journeys. During the lunch break, Sarah nudges me. "Your book hit the bestseller list this morning. The uninvited voice is number 3 and climbing." I nearly dropped my water bottle. "You're kidding." "Would I kid about sales figures?" She pulls up the rankings on her phone. "The publisher wants a second printing, and Ellen's people called again." Aunt Margaret joins us, wrapping me in a lavender-scented hug. "I always knew you'd change lives, sweetheart. Just didn't know it would be quite so many." A small commotion near the registration desk draws our attention. A mother and daughter stand frozen in the doorway, the girl's hand covering the left side of her face. Fear radiates from her posture, the same fear I carried for 25 years. "Excuse me," I murmured to Sarah and Aunt Margaret. My heels click against the marble floor as I cross the room. "I'm Allison," I say softly, crouching to the girl's eye level. "Would you like to hear a story about a little girl who thought she had to hide?" Her fingers slowly lower from her face, revealing a surgical scar still pink with healing. Her eyes widen as she takes in my cheek. "You're pretty," she whispers. "So are you," I hold out my hand. "Want to meet some other pretty amazing people?" The afternoon sessions blurred together panel discussions on medical advocacy, workshops on confidence building, strategy meetings for our expanding mentorship program. My notebook fills with ideas faster than I can process them. At 5 o'clock, I step outside for air. The Seattle skyline glimmers in the distance, mountains painted purple against the sunset sky. My phone buzzes again. "Michael. Your speech was beautiful," the text reads. "I should have known that 2 years ago." I let out a long breath, watching it spiral in the cool air. The old Allison would have rushed to respond, to smooth things over, to make everyone else comfortable. The new Allison takes her time. Inside, hundreds of voices rise in conversation, each one unique, each one valuable, each one refusing to be silenced. My tribe, my mission, my truth. I type back 3 words. I'm still rising. Then I turn and walk back inside, where a room full of perfectly imperfect people waits to write the next chapter of our story. Together. Not the end. Just the beginning.